Okay, 1.3 integers. So integer values are both positive and negative whole numbers. Okay, so we have the integer number set is denoted by a Q, usually with a line through it, and it goes all the way to negative infinity. Okay, starts at negative infinity, goes all the way -2, -1, 0, right? It includes the 0 because that's a whole number, and then 1, 2, and then continuously goes until infinity. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, all those nice pretty numbers. Okay, so we're obviously really good with positive numbers, so let's take a look at where negative integers come up in our real lives. So temperature, oh yes, the temperature this week is freezing. We are in the negatives for sure, right? So degrees Celsius, we'd be down here somewhere. Okay, negative, I think it's like -6, -10. Today's supposed to go up to 2 degrees, and then we're going to fall back down. Okay, debt. When you owe money, you have a negative balance. So negative balance, maybe like in your checking account, is going to say -$2.38. Okay, it's going to have that negative number there. That means, whoa, you spent too much money. You actually owe the bank now. Okay, distance below sea level. So we consider sea level to be the number 0. Anything below that, say for example where this fish is swimming, 20, let's go, meters below sea level. But if we want to actually represent this with an integer value, we'd represent it with -20. Okay, sorry, and golf scores. Okay, so if you hit par on every single hole in golf, you get the score of 0. Okay, and everything in golf is compared to par. So if it was like a par 3, it's like, did you go 1 stroke over, or did you go 1 stroke less? Or did you go 2 strokes over? Or did you go 2 strokes less, for example? So example 1, represent the following statements as integers. So Kyle earned $5. If you earn, that's going to be +5. Okay, and for an integer value, you don't want to include like say the number sign. You don't want to include if it's like kilograms, milliliters, seconds, whatever it is. You just want to include the number. Okay, the temperature falls 10 degrees. So when we talk about falling, we're talking about -10. Okay, Tim won 20 points. If you win something, you're up, right? It's going to be positive. Stephanie lost $40. Okay, make sure we're actually reading, because in these questions, like you can see some of them have like actual numerals, so they have the actual numbers. In this case, the 40 is spelled out for us. So if you lost $40, we're going to have -40. Okay, the plant has grown 3 inches last month. So if you grow, you're going to be bigger. It's +3. Diane has to pay $4 as penalty. So a penalty is when, like something goes down or you owe it. So -4. The cat lost its 2 kittens. So if you lose something, again, it's negative. So -2. Josh won a lottery amount of $50. So if you won $50, you're up 50, so it's +$50. Melissa bought 5 watches, so she increased her watches by 5. Okay, and Zach lost 2 pounds this month, so -2. Example 2. In each scenario, describe the meaning of positive and negative integers. Okay, so let's start with altitude. What is the meaning of positive integers when we're talking about altitude? Okay, we're talking like above sea level. Okay, and sea level doesn't just mean going to sea. Like, it doesn't mean just like when you're on the water. Sea level means like if you're climbing a mountain as well, which is more probably what you're thinking when you're talking about above sea level. Like, we can say like how high someone is. Okay, and the meaning of negative integers when we're talking about altitude, we're talking below sea level. Okay, this is probably usually underwater. How high would be like a mountain or like an airplane. This is under. Okay, now bank account. What does it mean to have a positive integer in a bank account? This means simply you have money. And when we have a negative integer for a bank account, we owe money. Example 3, write an integer for each situation. So 25 degrees Celsius below 0. So that's going to be negative 25. A profit of $27. So profit means that you're making money. So positive 27. A bonus of $25. So you get an extra $25 you receive. So that's going to be positive 25. 439 feet above sea level. Well, above sea level is going to be positive. A withdrawal of $368. When we withdraw money, we're taking it out, so we no longer have it in our bank. So it's going to be negative 368, like in our bank accounts. Okay, 65 meters below sea level. Below is going to be down. Okay, so negative 65. Okay, multiplication and division. So when we have numbers with the same signs, we take the answer as positive. So 2 positives is going to equal positive. 2 negatives is also going to make a positive. Okay, now when we have numbers of different signs, either negative positive or positive negative, our answer when we multiply or divide is always going to be negative. Okay, so evaluate the following. What is 25 times 4? Well, that's just 100. And both of these are positive numbers, so it's positive 100. Okay, what's negative 12 divided by 3? Well, 12 divided by 3 is 4. And if we have one negative symbol and one positive symbol, our answer is negative. Okay, so 36 divided by negative 6. So 36 divided by 6 is just 6. And now when we analyze that one is a positive sign and one is a negative sign, our answer is also going to be negative. Okay, and negative 5 times negative 8. Well, just the numbers 5 times 8 equals 40. So when we have two negative signs, negative 5 times negative 8, it's going to be a positive. Now, working with integers in fractions. So what we're going to do is separately, we're going to solve for the numerator, then we're going to solve for the denominator, then we're going to divide. Okay? So we have negative 3, and this bracket means multiplied by negative 5 squared. Okay? A little bit of BEDMAS here, but we will get into BEDMAS a little bit deeper. This is mainly just multiplication and division. So what we have here is we have -3 times -5 times -5. Okay, because -5 squared is -5 times -5. And we're going to divide that by -6. So when we do 3 times 5 times 5, we get the number 75. Now, if we're looking at the signs, we have negative, negative, and negative. So if you think about it, we put this on the side of our paper. 2 negatives is going to equal a positive. Then if we bring that down, a positive and a negative will equal a negative. So this is going to be -75. And that's going to be divided by -6. Now, when we divide 75 divided by 6, we get 12.5. When we divide two negatives, it does become positive. So we get positive 12.5. All right, B. We have -4 times 2. So if we totally ignore the signs for a second and we do 4 times 4, which is 16, times 2, we get 32. Now we have a negative, a positive, and a negative. So a negative and a positive are going to yield a negative. And if we bring this negative down, 2 negatives is going to yield a positive. So that 32 is going to end up being positive. Okay, and in the denominator, 4 times -10, we get -40 divided by -5. Well, -40 divided by -5 is going to be 8. And if we look at all of the signs in the denominator, again, we have a positive, a negative, and a negative. So positive and negative yields a negative. Bring that down, and we're going to get a positive. So 32 divided by 8, our answer is going to be 4. Okay, and that's going to be positive. Okay, addition and subtraction. So when we take a look at a number line and we're working with integers, we move to the right of the number line, the numbers get larger, and as we move to the left of the number line, the numbers get smaller. Okay, so when we talk about origin, we're talking about that middle number is 0. On our graph, it would be 0, 0. Okay, that's the origin. Positive numbers go to the right, negative numbers go to the left. Okay, so there is a quick way to do this. If we're adding or subtracting two positive numbers or two negative numbers, so pretty much two numbers with the same sign, what we end up doing is we add the numbers and we keep the sign. But if we're dealing with one positive and one negative number, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the numbers and then take the sign of the larger integer. And we'll apply these in the next couple questions. So add or subtract the following. Example 6. 6 minus 8. So if you take a look at these numbers individually, we have the number 6 and we have a -8. These are two different signs. One's plus, one's minus. So we are going to use this rule over here. We're going to subtract the numbers. So say for example, 8 minus 6 is 2. And then we're going to take the sign of the larger number. So when we talk about just the number, we're only talking about the 6 portion or the 8. Well, we have more negative than we do positive, so -8, so this is going to be -2. Okay, B, we have two numbers here, -3 and -4. Okay, so both of them are negative. So because they have the same sign, we're going to use this rule here. Add the numbers. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and we're going to keep the sign, which is negative. Okay, we have two numbers here. We have a 4 and we have a negative 8. Okay, we're going to treat that like minus sign as a negative. So because they have different signs, we're going to do the second rule. We're going to follow the second rule. So we're going to subtract these two numbers. So in my head, I always just do like the biggest one minus the littler one. 8 minus 4 is 4. Because then we know afterwards we're going to take the sign. We're not going to forget about it. We're going to take the sign of the bigger number, which is 8. So negative 8. Or sorry, negative 4 is our answer. Just remember, negative 8 is less than 4 on like the number line. But when I'm saying like take the sign of the larger integer, I mean like just this value. Okay, and D, we have negative 6 and we have a positive 4. Again, subtract these, we get 2, and the negative sign is on the 6, so we're going to take the negative as our sign. So our answer there is negative 2. Okay, example 7. First simplify the signs and then evaluate. So we have 7 plus negative 2. So positive and a negative is going to yield a negative. So we have 7 minus 2, which I think that this is like the easier one because we have a larger positive integer and then minus 2. So we can just say 5. Okay, negative 14 plus 3. We no longer have to write this with brackets. So we have negative 14 plus 3. So our two numbers are negative 14 and positive 3. Because they have opposite signs, we can subtract them. So 14 minus 3 is 11. And then we're going to take the sign of like the bigger number, so negative. Okay, for C, we have negative 3 plus negative 12 plus positive 6. So negative 3 we can write without brackets. The plus and the minus sign here simplify to minus 12. And the positive sign simplifies to positive 6. So let's do 2 at a time. So let's start with just negative 3 minus 12. So negative 3 and negative 12 both have the same signs, so we're going to add them. So 12 plus 3 is 15. But because both signs are negative, we are going to leave the negative there. And bring down the 6. Now we have negative 15 and positive 6. These are opposite signs, so we're going to subtract. So 15 minus 6, we get 9. And we're going to keep the sign of the larger number, which is negative. So negative 9. Okay, D, we get negative 10 plus 2. And then all we have to simplify is this double negative here. So that turns into a positive 7. Okay, so the first two numbers are negative 10 and positive 2. Because they have opposite signs, we're going to subtract them. So 10 minus 2 is 8. And we take the negative because the negative is on the bigger number. Okay, bring down the positive 7. We do the same thing. We have two numbers, negative 8 and positive 7. These are opposite signs, so we're going to subtract them. 8 minus 7 is 1, and we're going to take the negative because the negative is on the bigger number. Okay, negative 8 minus 5. Both of these are the same sign, so we add these. So 8 plus 5 is 13. and we take the sign, so negative. Okay, and the last one, -4. These two negative signs cancel out to a positive, so -4 plus 9. These are opposite signs, so we subtract these and we get 5, and we take the positive because the positive is on the bigger number, so +5.